Whenever a large excavation project is brought up in Terraria, one of the most common responses that I see is, "That's cool, but what if you did it with a copper pickaxe?" And after seeing these comments on my video where I flattened a large world, I decided that I wanted to answer that very question. But before I could answer anything, I had to figure out what project I wanted to try with the copper pickaxe, and I decided, might as well go all out and see how long it would take to mine an entire large world with a copper pickaxe. Now, here's the thing. As you'll find out by the end of the video, this experiment would be just about impossible to conduct by hand. It would just take too dang long. But I'm not going to let that stop me from finding out the answer to this question. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to use some simple math to get a pretty good approximation of how long it would take. Now, in order to get started, we first have to understand a few things. A pickaxe has quite a few different statistics that help define how it's used by the player. Some of these things we don't care about, such as damage and use time, because these statistics apply to melee attacks against enemies. The two attributes that we do care about are tool speed and pickaxe power. Tool speed determines how often a pickaxe will hit a block when you're trying to mine. A copper pickaxe, for example, has a tool speed of 15, and this is measured in ticks. So if we wanted to get this in hits per second, we'd need to take the 60 ticks in a second and divide it by the use time of 15 to get our answer of 4 hits per second. Pickaxe power determines how much damage your pickaxe will do to a block that you're mining. So in other words, it determines how many times you'll have to hit a block before it breaks. Now the math on this is a bit more complicated, but we don't really have to worry about it because the Terraria wiki actually has a handy table that shows how many swings it takes to break every block with each pickaxe in the game. So now that we understand these two things, it's time to find out how long it would take to mine an entire large world with a copper pickaxe. First and foremost, I need to generate a world that we'll use for testing. Now that I have that done, the next thing that I want to do is open up the world in T-Edit and take a block analysis of the entire world. Next, I want to remove everything from this analysis that I don't care about, such as jungle vines and furniture items, because they will break automatically when the blocks they're connected to are removed, so these items won't affect the time it'll take to mine the world at all. Now that this is done, I can go through every block type and multiply the number of blocks in the world by the amount of swings it takes to break that type of block, to get the overall number of pickaxe swings to break every block in the world. I do want to mention that there are some blocks that simply cannot be mined with a copper pickaxe, such as dungeon brick and obsidian, but for the sake of the experiment, I'm just going to ignore these blocks in the calculation altogether. Now that I have the total number of swings it'll take to mine the entire world, I can divide this by the 4 swings per second that the copper pickaxe is capable of to get the number of seconds it would take to mine every block in the world. And after doing so, I found it would take 6,243,240 seconds to mine every block with a copper pickaxe. Converting this to hours, we get 1,734.23 hours. Now, this is just the time that it takes to mine the blocks. We also have to count for things like emptying chests and traversing the world, so I'm just going to round it up to an even 1,800 hours to account for these factors. Now, first of all, this is a crazy large number that I doubt anybody would be able to pull off, but it's actually significant in another way, because I just so happen to have almost that exact number of hours played in Terraria. So I guess if I had spent the entire 5 years that I've been playing the game mining a single world with the copper pickaxe, I would have just finished. And in case you are curious what a world mined with a copper pickaxe looks like, here's a replica that I made using T-Edit. So although I may have answered the main question for this video, I still want to find out one more thing: how long it would take to mine a world with the fastest pickaxe in the game, or rather the fastest drill in the game. According to the wiki, the Stardust drill has a mining speed of 1. In other words, it can hit 60 times a second. Now, I tested this and it didn't really feel that fast, but I'm just going to go with what the wiki says regardless. I'm also going to leave out the blocks that the copper pickaxe couldn't mine from the calculation. Although the Stardust drill can mine everything in the game, I want to keep the comparison as equal as possible. So, with the new calculation using the much faster Stardust drill, I found that it would take around 150 hours to mine the entire world. Still a very long time, but much faster and much more manageable than the copper pickaxe. So, there you have it. The age-old question has finally been answered. If you enjoy the video and like to see more, consider subscribing to be notified when I upload more videos in the future. And if you're watching this within a day of upload, I'm most likely doing a 24-hour live stream right now on Twitch. There will be a link in the description of the video if you'd like to tune in. But with that out of the way, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time.